Hello everyone, Luke Smith here. So it's Friday today. No Violent Horror Stories game this week. I'll do it next week. The Cyraxx Wiki we're on today. There's another one that I found out that has a wiki page. So we're gonna read all about him in this very long article. So, Chance Wilkins. Chance James Finley Wilkins, James Finley, born Patrick Smith, 20th of September 1990, is a 35-year-old internet personality who has gained both notoriety and infamy. Let me just check the date. Yeah, that's fine. And infamy for his freakouts, escapades, and deranged behaviour. Chance is better known by his alias Cyraxx, but is also known by other names such as DJ Shadowblade, Cyraxx, DJ Ataki, and 43. 43 is what the is a code word that police in Ohio give nut jobs, in other words, and by many other aliases, either made up by him, stolen from other people, or given to him by his followers. Cyraxx is a man of many passions. Let me just check my recording levels. Yeah, that's fine. Everything's working. That's it. Man of many passions, having dabbled in art, e-racing, electronic racing, video game racing, music writing, dancing, sports, anime, filmmaking, and video games and content creation. Unfortunately for Cyraxx, though, he has never seen any success or talents in any of these fields, or anything of any merit that he has ever produced has been either stolen from more talented people, or involves some level of dishonesty. This, alongside his anger issues and inability to change, has caused him to be a potential target of trolling. In late 2019, Cyraxx gained notoriety online following an incident involving a woman named Candell Smith, whom he had harassed into faking her suicide, leading to backlash from the Juggalo community, of which both were part of. The incident caused Cyraxx to be exiled and became a target of ridicule within the community. Around this time, Music Bismarty discovered Cyraxx and began organising troll campaigns against him, ultimately becoming Cyraxx's most persistent enemy. By 2021, Cyraxx's infamy reached new heights following the stylist incident, which was at the time one of Cyraxx's most outlandish and disgusting moments that cemented his status as a major target for trolls. This period saw a rise of numerous notable events, including Skull Scratcher Comedy, the Assassin Saga, and the Xbox Saga, as well as Cyraxx being exposed as a paedophile by Masshole reports. In 2023, Cyraxx trolling climaxed when his arch enemy, Music Bismarty, got into an actual physical fight with Cyraxx near his house. That was fucking funny. That was so fun. I miss Music Bismarty. I really do. He was actually a really good guy. The fight became the most notorious Cyraxx incident, but marked the beginning of his withdrawal from the internet. Marty's interest in trolling waned during Cyraxx's post-fight exile, leading to a lull in any notable activity. Trolling against Cyraxx resumed in 2024, with Music Bismarty's return. During this period, Cyraxx narrowly avoided jail time for assaulting a troll with a baseball bat. I remember that as well. An incident that briefly reignited the intensity of the trolling campaigns. While these events brought some renewed attention, the level of activity has not reached the heights of the 2021 to 2023 era. So, name: Chance James Finley Wilkins, aliases Cyraxx Case. Case is what the police ended up calling him one time because he thought his name was Case. Date of birth 20th of September 1990. He's like, what? How old is he? 35 years old. Almost. No, I think this article is a little bit older, but he's like younger than me, and he looks a lot older than me. I know he's got fetal alcohol syndrome, but like seriously, come on now. Gender: male, American, as debatable. Height: short arse, 4'8". Parents: Connie Lobel and Rubel Smith. Occupation: neat. Yeah. We have got a lot of shit to go through, by the way. Early life. Cyraxx was born as a second child of Connie Lobdell and Rubel Smith in Kenai, Alaska on the 20th of September 1990. Should I really read the early life? Because it's so long. Fuck it, I will. I know no one's going to watch this video, by the way. Under the name Patrick Smith. From birth, I'm going to call him Case. Case faced numerous health complications, including being born underweight and with only one kidney, with an undeveloped lung, sclerosis, and various other health conditions. These challenges were likely due to Chance being born prematurely, reportedly at just 26 weeks, 6 months into Connie's pregnancy, not 16 weeks, which is impossible, and is often falsely recounted by many people. It should have been so early that he would not have he would not have developed brown fat on his skin, leaving his skin somewhat transparent. Exactly why he was born so prematurely is unclear, but it's often speculated that Chance may have had facade due to Connie allegedly using drugs and alcohol during pregnancy. Yeah, fetal alcohol syndrome. However, Connie's stepfather recalled her as not being a drinker, and Chance does not exhibit any of the typical signs of it, such as a smooth upper lip. It is most likely that Chance's premature death, we wish, birth was due to other factors, such as genetic issues or the use of drugs other than alcohol that did not result in typical signs. Chance's brother, the couple's first child, was taken away by the state of Alaska before Chance was born, and Chance was taken away from Connie's custody as soon as he was born. The exact reason why isn't known. It is likely due to the fact that Connie couldn't take care of them due to her being heavily disabled. It's probably the fucking reason. He was then entrusted to his grandmother, Sally Akron, and was relocated to somewhere around Atlanta. Sally, who was married to Gordon Wilkins at the time, made a decision to change his name to Chance Wilkins soon after. At the age of 4, his father, Rubel, back in Alaska, was arrested for raping a 14-year-old girl on a bike path. I've heard of that, yeah. He's also he's like a transvestite now. Fuck knows. He's a rapist, so kind of makes sense that he would be one. The story of how Rubel got arrested is a great testament to the theory that Cyraxx's low intelligence runs in the family, as Rubel actually managed to entirely get himself caught, as he called the police on himself, saying that a sketch of the perpetrator looked like him, likely to throw police off of him. And after searching the house, the police found a bike with tracks that matched those from the crime scene. Rubel's actions got into further continued a family history of abuse, as Sally married Chance's grandfather, William Smith, not Gordon Wilkins. and when she was 14. Jesus Christ, there's a lot of dirtiness happening in the family. Gordon later divorced Sally, partially due to the stress of adopting Chance. And she did not want any children to begin with. Or he didn't want any children. His baby picture looks like an alien. Jesus fucking Christ. I mean, to be fair, all his pictures look fucking weird. After moving to Atlanta, Johnson moved to Lake Wales, Florida in 2002 after Sally learned that Gordon has moved there with the pretext that she wanted Chance to be close to his father. He attended Roosevelt Academy, and presumably around this time he was in the Scouts Club. On Chance's 17th birthday in 2007, Connie passed away in a house fire, for reasons that remained somewhat unclear. Sally, Chance and William, one of Sally's sons from a previous marriage, moved to Akron, Ohio around 2008-2009, around when Cyraxx was 18. Chance started attending Garfield High when he moved to Akron. Information about Cyraxx's time in Garfield is extremely limited, with the only people given as much insight into his time there being Kat and a Blind Billy. Poor Blind Billy, Jesus Christ, we'll probably get there in this video. Who are presumably his only friends. His friends led him to finding a passion for music and dancing, and Kat introduced him to artists like Linkin Park. Cyraxx did poorly in school due to his intellectual disabilities, but despite this, there is no evidence that he was put into any special education classes or given any disability services. On February 14th, 2012, an incident occurred between Sally and Cyraxx. After he told Sally that he would undertake a journey from Ohio to Kansas by walking and hitchhiking in order to meet a girl, which later turned out to be a catfish, Sally objected to this obviously stupid plan, causing Cyraxx to have a temper tantrum and physically assault her as soon as her back was turned on him. That's a fucking dirty move, that is. William intervened and called the police. Cyraxx was arrested and charged with domestic violence. He accepted a plea deal that reduced the charge to disorderly conduct, and he received a suspended 30 days in jail sentence on the condition that he attends mandatory anger management therapy and have a mental health assessment. Fun fact, after the incident, Sally was advised to use positive behaviour support on him, a therapy technique meant for people with behavioural disorders, and Cyraxx heard this and thought the television network PBS was coming to his house to film a documentary on him. Oh fucking hell, what an idiot. After the incident another incident that occurred was the time of the Blind Billy incident, Jesus. Despite Billy being his friend in 2013, Cyraxx raped Billy at his house. Yep, fucking dark that is. Which, despite how extreme the incident was, never ended in any long-term punishment for Chance. It should have been. At an unknown date after the Blind Billy incident, Cyraxx threw himself off the roof of his school and broke his arm after he was being dared to. When he recovered, he filed a false police report claiming that he was actually pushed, which may have got him expelled. If Cyraxx's story of events was true, you'd expect Cyraxx to be extremely angry about almost being murdered by being pushed off of a building. But he has said that he was actually glad for it, and that he believes that he was endowed with created superpowers during the Savant syndrome of Via, wherever that is, which gave him a profound passion in talent in art, game development, filmmaking, and music, despite not receiving any serious brain injury from the impact, which is how Savant syndrome is caused. Around 2014, Cyraxx was expelled from Garfield for reasons that remain mostly unclear. His aunt and cat both claim that he was expelled for the previous mentioned police reports, while many members of the community claim it was because of the he passed the legal age limit for the school in Ohio, which was 22. Cyraxx being 23 at the time of his expulsion, the false police report is most likely the answer, as Cyraxx would have just been denied attendance next year due to the age limit, but this has still not been fully proven. It is often mistaken that he was expelled for the blind Billy incident, but this is most likely just a factor behind his expulsion, as Kat recounted seeing him in school after the blind Billy incident occurred. On February 3rd, 2016, William passed away from cancer, removing the last sane person from Cyraxx's from the Wilkins household. Early internet presence. Despite being primarily known for his activity from the 2020s, Cyraxx has had an extensive online history. Boy, don't we fucking know that. Spanning several years before he even started receiving trolling. Oh, mouse, thank you. 2012. Chance opened his first known YouTube channel, Chance Wilkins, on the 2nd of April 2012. His first and only upload on the channel, which has made a few months after beating up Sally, Jesus, was a skating music video called "It's So Precious" demo DJ Shadow Blade FT, featuring the Possessed One. On the 3rd of April, the next day, the music video isn't terrible, but was definitely carried out by another person featured in the video, who was presumably the Possessed One, as the Possessed One never made an appearance in his content, or another appearance. Yeah. Around this time, Chance adopted the name Cyraxx, which he became commonly known as. Both the names DJ Shadowblade and Cyraxx were stolen from another musician. Wasn't Cyraxx another name for a fighter in Mortal Kombat or another fighting game? I can't really remember. Who signed him onto a label out of pity named Eric Scrabbaloo, who had involvement in a label named Killer Clown Sounds, which was managed by Juggalos. Cyraxx has also used several other aliases around that time too, including Virus, Cyraxx, DJ Customs and DJ Ataku. Most of were Juggalo or anime inspired. Cyraxx's next known videos, which were uploaded months later in June, was a 2-part personal vlog series titled Inside the Shadow. First involved him talking about the Killer Clown Sounds, his personal life, and complaining about the Juggalos, who were new to the fandom, thinking that they could bargain and instate whatever rules they want. The second part of the series was him doing a tour of his room and workspace in the basement. Well, he lives in the attic, doesn't he? Something very noticeable in the series is how different Chance is in his new attitude and overall ethos than how he is now. Cyraxx is much more thoughtful and respectful in the way he speaks compared to how he is now, and seems to be more passionate about his life. Something very notable in the series on how I've already fucking read that bit. Cyraxx's first music video, produced by himself, was posted on the 1st of July. Earache warning. Which, by all measures, drastically worse than his previous music videos featuring guests. A significant event occurred on the 5th of July 2012 when Cyraxx uploaded his infamous Chester Bennington Scream video. In this video, he aimed to beat Chester's record for the world's longest death scream. I fucking remember that, Jesus. That's awful. The video showcased Cyraxx's dishevelled appearance as he admitted a loud guttering sound showing off his crooked teeth. This would be the last known post Chance made in 2012. 2013. He and Heather would also announce, we're getting Heather involved, we ain't introduced her yet. Heather would also announce their departure from the Juggalo lifestyle sometime in 2013, over them not enjoying it. The video was made presumably before when they threw Eric's dog tags into Summit Lake, as they were wearing them in the video. The year 2012 began with Cyraxx making a video with Heather apologising to Eric on February 28th for throwing a record label's dog tags into Lake Summit. Why they did this isn't explained, but Cyraxx claims that Sally told him to do it because they were angry over something, possibly over Eric getting mad at them for leaving the Juggalo lifestyle. Eric was presumably not picked Cyraxx back up into his record label. This would be the most notable appearance of Heather until Cyraxx allegedly cheated on her and dumped her for Heather Kraut. Some point in 2013, Cyraxx also made a video about a beef between him and a man named Darren, who Cyraxx was feuding with, Darren allegedly harassing a woman named Lisa Johnson. The last date activity from him was from the 1st of March and would be him listening to classical music. There were no other archived videos from this year. This year would also be Cyraxx's last high school before getting kicked out. 2014. Chance made a strange post where he reposted Soldier's Creed in February 2014, as well as a untactful post using Soldier's PTSD for shares on Facebook. On the 6th of May, but yeah, we're not looking at pictures because long video. 6th of May, Cyraxx made a post about an apparent video game that he was developing called Possession Pain. It was reminiscent of Resident Evil, Call of Duty and Halo, all copyright stuff that shouldn't be ripped off, and would be released in August. This was episode 1 of a series, but like the other episodes, it would either never made or lost to time, the game that never came to fruition. 14 days after, he made another video asking Obama to repeal a zero-tolerance gun laws, which he was likely confusing with a duty to retreat laws. 2015. Oh, okay, we're just getting the good stuff now. Beat up and slammed into a stop sign by a teenager. That would have been funny to see. Cyraxx getting banned from World of Warcraft. Cyraxx getting a girlfriend named May. Zach Hudson is murdered, and Cyraxx makes post about him on Facebook. One being of a car in Second Life with his face and name plastered all over it. The other of him being an opening of a account called Z&C Customs. Yeah, like praise the murderer. 2016. Cyraxx opens a new record label called Metal Metilia, hosting a band called Blackfire Lighthouse, which is just a screen loading for the flash game Punkomatic. Cyraxx starts making Mugun Games, which is a popular free-to-use 2D fighting game that claims he lost a friendship with a girl due to a man called Chuck Seagull. I think the second post is missing some things there. Chuck Seagull Stegel, there we are, is somewhat an unhinged man who is a self-proclaimed vampire who also claims to be a conservative Christian while publicly cross-dressing online. It is both a troll and an A-log, and he started trolling in even allegedly hacking clients a long time before clients was ever exposed for doing anything wrong. He also later alleged that he caught Cyraxx talking to a 16-year-old girl and that he was harassing him for this, but he only would been able to discover this by hacking into his account, which is likely just an excuse for him to justify him already harassing her. There's some grammar errors in this. Chuck would also later face allegations. Chance released his book called Soul Census. Chance released an album called Urban Warfare. He also enters a relationship with someone. 2017. Cyraxx started to engage in filmmaking more around February, sharing various experimental videos he made. One being poorly edited footage of him engaging in a staged fight with a clone of himself. It's fucking cringe, by the way. He also created a video where he symbolically fought against racism, despite him being intensely racist and even, at a point, regularly using slurs, as well as another where he unjustly blamed his principal for the expulsion from school, despite the fact that it was entirely his own fault. It was during 2017 that Cyraxx also encountered his first troll, Chuckula, who is essentially dragged into a conflict with Rax. Cyraxx created a video randomly calling out Chuckula, accusing him of hacking, and the two engaged in a feud for a while before losing interest in each other. In July 2017, Cyraxx started a video series about record labels being greedy, which continued until 2018. He never lets things go. The first entry being an excessively long video where he repeated the same points about record labels over and over. Despite him making many videos for a year, he only developed one extra complaint, claiming that record labels refused to hire him based on his disability rather than his musical abilities, despite the fact that he'd been signed onto a record label out of pity for his disabilities by Eric Scrubble beforehand. He also met a new girlfriend, Abby, sometime in July 2017, same month, and performed a shitty metal show for her in August, which she seemed to enjoy. Not long after, August 16th, it came to light that Cyraxx is attempting to cheat on Abby by talking to a catfish. He asserted that he has been framed by a fake ex-partner named Tiffany, which has never been mentioned before, and supposedly later incarcerated for hacking crimes, which is a reason he gives for why nobody could find her and prove her identity. In other words, she was fake. In August, Cyraxx also posted a video alleging that Jason David Frank, all first names by the way, had assaulted him at a Comic-Con event, which contradicts his latest statements regarding his favourable opinion of Jason after Jason's death. In December of 2017, Cyraxx attempted to sell tickets for an online show. He enlisted the help of a ticket website but was ultimately removed from the platform. The show never took place, because it was not a real show. 2018. Music videos. Infamous dance video of him dancing like a fucking puppet. Dark Star Films. Cyraxx shrunk from 5'3" to 5'2". I don't see why he would lie about this. Very unlikely to be the 4'8". Candell Smith. In late 2018, Chance was introduced to a romantic interest named Candell Smith. Their relationship ended when Candell broke off contact with him after Cyraxx confessed his feelings to her. By January 2019, Candle began accusing Cyraxx of stalking, doxing and harassment. To escape Chance's persistent harassment, Candle faked her own death, and Cyraxx quickly denied any involvement of her death. Believing that Cyraxx had essentially harassed a woman to the point of suicide, the Juggalo community, to which both Candle and Cyraxx belonged to, was greatly upset. Early trolling. Cyraxx started receiving a notable amount of flack from the Juggalo community for harassment to Candle Smith to the point of offing herself, after being unaware that she was faking her death. At the latest estimate of August 2019, which was mostly a niche drama, local drama in the Akron Juggalo scene, but eventually turned into some of the most notable organised events to troll Cyraxx. After people noticed how gullible and reactive he was, starting some of his first sagas. Some of Cyraxx's classic trolls, such as Shemeckle Cat, Tyler New York, Prison Mike, Jamie Nicole, and Music Biz Marty, may he rest in peace, were introduced around this time. He also managed to get into an actual real-life girlfriend named Heather Kraut, who abandoned her wife and kid to live with Cyraxx for some reason. Why? Many notable videos were made with Heather, most of them being horribly negative, such as when he almost punched her, or when she gagged after kissing him because he doesn't brush his teeth. Juggalo War. The first known organised trolling campaigns was from Juggalos through Bloodshot Records. Nothing really is known about the record company, although it is probably was created for the excessive purpose to troll Cyraxx due to his belief in having co-founded the label. It's not known whatever happened to Bloodshot Records, but it likely ended before October 2019, as some of its founders were openly making fun of him around then. Music Biz Marty discovers Cyraxx. In October 2019, Music Biz Marty was introduced to Cyraxx by the Juggalo community, presumably a Juggalo named The Boy Blue 1982. Due to the drama with Candle Smith, Marty was at first just a spectator, mostly interacting with him through Jamie Nicole's streams, until early November, when Cyraxx desperation got him to sign onto a record label after being dropped by Bloodshot Records was noticed. Marty and Brooklyn Menace contacted Cyraxx as two record labels, Ram Ranch, owned by Marty, and Bender Boys Records, owned by Brooklyn, and competed over who would sign Cyraxx the first, with Bender Boys ultimately winning because Cyraxx did not want to sign with Ram Ranch over them wanting to make merch mocking him. Cyraxx uploaded a video of him gloating about getting signed sometime in early November, and immediately after this, Cyraxx was dropped by the Bender Boys after releasing one song due to it underperforming, and his contract was sold to Ram Ranch, who made Cyraxx rage out. Lady discovered that the merch shop run by Ram Ranch actually came to fruition, or at least made a website for it, which he cried over. Trolls would then make a video intimidating and mocking his reaction. Jamie Nicole starts appearing. Cyraxx gets tested on his Juggalo knowledge. Cyraxx and Suplex City stage boxing match, fighting each other across the stream as part of our vlog content. Chance tries to defend defend the use of the N-word because he uses it with an A, Juggalo John, which showed up at 339, which is Cyraxx's house. Although Cyraxx was not present at the location, mainly because he was hiding, he had informed the police about being situated with Heather Kraut at Summit Lake, resulting in a police response. Young Fox War. On the 5th of February 2020, Cyraxx made a diss track targeted towards a rapper called Fox Hunt. What exactly Cyraxx did is unclear, but Young Fox is probably the same part of the Juggalo community that he was beefing with at the time. The day after, Young Fox and Cyraxx had a rap battle on Jamie Nicole's panel, and the two would go back and forth making responses to each other day by day. Cyraxx made a final diss track against Fox the day after the panel, and on the 8th, Fox made his first diss track against Chance. Cyraxx would mysteriously disappear after the diss track was made, and a mysterious man called Shadow King, who was totally not Cyraxx in a costume with his voice pitched down, made a video defending Cyraxx against the people attacking him. Everyone immediately saw this was an obvious attempt from Chance to save face, and Cyraxx's attempt of being so terrible that his shitty voice changer stopped working at 4 minutes 15, and the video exposing his real voice, and he didn't bother editing out. Cyraxx began denying being or ever being associated with Shadow King, and Young Fox distanced himself from Cyraxx. Way after the Young Fox stuff, Cyraxx broke up with Heather K on the 15th of May 2020. As on that day, Cyraxx made 5 videos announcing that him and Heather were breaking up, and that she never cared about him at all. No one cares about him. There was obvious abuse happening towards each other, and which was captured many times to this video. But Chance went out of his way to confirm how severe it was, and revealed that he threatened to off himself by shanking himself in the stomach with a blade. It was a fake thing, by the way. Given the fact that Cyraxx is known to be a that bait, which is likely an attempt to emotionally manipulate her that failed. There was also a phone call between Cyraxx and Heather K that was leaked after their breakup, which showed Cyraxx quickly being thrown off of his rocker and berating Heather, displaying the toxic dynamics within their relationship. Around this time, in June 2020, Cyraxx started making changes to his life. He moved from his room to the basement of the house, furthering the goblin comparison, and then he proceeded to start dressing up like a hipster for a day. Where he recorded yet another video of him bragging about his finances, his actual business, or his business acumen, and how well he was supporting his family. All of which were evidently false, as he was living rent-free in his parents' basement. He also picked up a habit of recording videos of himself doing martial arts, shadowboxing, and working out in his basement, all with his usual level of competency. He also recorded videos of him flexing his Greek god physique and his workout routine, bragging about him lifting a total of 25 pounds with both arms a couple of times, and doing horrible push-ups in an improper form. In August 8th, 2020, Cyraxx participated in the infamous Hey Tyler stream. Tyler New York called Cyraxx and made him rage out by taunting Cyraxx, to which Cyraxx responded by shouting dull and generic insults, and notably phrases like "Hey Tyler" 33 times, while Tyler absolutely destroyed Cyraxx. During the call, Sally got fed up and yells at Cyraxx. That'll become an ongoing thing, using a classic line, "Can't stop, you're making me sick." Unfortunately, shortly after this, Jamie Nicole tragically passed away. Cyraxx turns 30. Skull Kid interview. Ed overdosed and Zach Hussein. Caitlyn. In early November 2020, Cyraxx met Caitlyn, a real woman who was ironically in love with him, and instantly cheated on her with a catfish named Jasmine, who is actually Marty. Marty confronted him on panel, and Cyraxx responded predictably by calling Marty racial and homophobic slurs. After the panel, Cyraxx had tried to divert attention from him by accusing Marty of murdering a prostitute, out of the belief that Caitlyn would believe and takes his side because of this. Marty, in response, called Caitlyn's family and informed them about Chance. They got mad and made Caitlyn break up with Chance, who then had a meltdown over losing her, despite putting zero effort in maintaining a relationship and making videos pining over his ex, Heather Kraut. Marty then interviewed Caitlyn about Cyraxx, and she said some predictable stuff about how he was a liar and mistreated her. Intriguingly, she also kind of acted like Cyraxx throughout the interview, with her lying over useless information for no reason, like her claiming she sent a man into a 10-year coma with one punch. Cyraxx, in response to Caitlyn, quote-unquote, betraying him despite him cheating on her, accused her of murdering her father, who died of a heart attack. Caitlyn did a couple more streams with Marty before not making any more appearances. After, Cyraxx managed to get his hands onto a racing steering wheel from Sally as a Christmas gift, which really fueled his desire to make car content. You would expect this to put Cyraxx on high spirits, but soon after he had a stream with Marty and Caitlyn, where he loses the will to live and fight and becomes a heartless, soulless demon, which was apparently because of Marty. Cyraxx's demon apparently took over for a bit as he whispers "fuck you" to Sally and lied about Heather K's son being his, despite him probably being infertile. He even did a rap video, drum solo on his plastic jug drums, and many other pleas to the son to come back, despite Heather K and the kid's actual father confirming that the kid isn't Cyraxx's. After Attic, AJ's Vega book album Plaque meets Tange Cat, Strawberry Sunshine, Lava and Chloe Rose, Tange, Nazi livestream, Dick Vice, gun incident, knife fired from her job, Lava, Okima. A load of fucking stuff there. Golden age of trolling. Starting around 2021 is when Cyraxx to enter the mainstream local dom, beginning to have freakouts and enter into sagas to partly popular locals at the time, like Chris Chan and Daniel Larson. Stylist incident. Yep, with a fucking stylist, it's not even a knife. People thought it was a knife, but then he admitted it's not. Leading up to the incident, Cyraxx, who was being catfished by 3 trolls called Strawberry Sunshine, Tangerine Cat and notably Katrina Luna, who was pretending to be a disabled trans woman named Cindy Lou, Cyraxx sent Strawberry Sunshine a video of him inserting the stylus into his anus and licking it clean. Oh, fuck me, no. Oh, I knew about the stylus incident, but like licking it clean, no, I did not know about that. That was horrible. Disgusting. Sunshine, who sent the video to Marty, unbeknownst to Cyraxx. Doing this would cause an incident which would propel and unleash him to a wider audience. At this point, this was one of the absurd things that Cyraxx has ever done. On the 11th of April 2020, 2021, Cyraxx appeared on the Music Biz Marty panel with Tangerine Cat and Strawberry Sunshine, to be confronted about the fact that he was not only cheating on them both with each other, but also with Katrina Luna. When the confrontation began, Cyraxx initially reacted by explosively cursing and screaming at them. Upon Marty mentioning Cindy Lou, Cyraxx left and rejoined the live stream holding the stylist to his neck, asking Marty that if he wanted him to end his life. The panel initially thought it was a real knife, and they tried to talk him out of it, to get Sally to stop him and being called a well check on him. Cyraxx then revealed that it was a pen this whole time, well, a stylus, like a Nintendo DS stylus sort of thing, causing Marty and Tangerine to laugh hysterically. After the incident, Cyraxx would try the stylus trick 2 other times, which proved unfruitful for him, mainly because people knew what was going on. Massol reports incident. In late April 2021, a Massol reports investigator named Katie Peters started catfishing Cyraxx as a 14-year-old girl, and would eventually be the first person to publicly expose Cyraxx as a paedophile. She continued catfishing him for about 2 months, until early June, and revealed the live sting, which made Cyraxx cry. She also revealed that she would call the police on Cyraxx, who didn't press charges because she did not do the investigation in cooperation with the police. Cyraxx remained silent on the matter until the end of the month, and responded by calling Massol being a fraud with no evidence, while Marty absurdly compared Cyraxx's life to the Truman Show. Cyraxx, in one final desperate attempt to get the heat off of him, made a stream where he cried and railed, begging the trolls to leave him alone. Skull Scratcher comedy. Cyraxx debuted his Skull Scratcher comedy show, where he recorded a poorly made comedy show with low frames per second, with added laugh tracks over it. He then made his Open Saw comedy and Home for the Outcast comedy bits, which were similarly poor quality. He finished off the comedy shows with Jokes on You featuring Trevor, which is mostly not even comedy and just ranting. Trisha. Sometime in October of that year, Cyraxx met a trans woman named Trisha on Facebook, which spurred on Cyraxx's two-week exile. Eventually, though he knew at this point that every time he leaks a relationship, his partner is harassed off the internet or is harassed into being his enemy, he leaks their relationship anyways and starts making videos about her. This is when his trolls started saying that Trisha is not actually a woman, and Cyraxx made videos where Trisha yells at the camera in a weird accent under poor microphone quality that she is indeed a woman. It soon revealed that Marty and Trisha were actually 14 years old and was intellectually disabled. So Trisha was a 14-year-old girl again, making her essentially unable to consent to a relationship with Cyraxx, a psychopathic freak in his mid-30s. Marty and the trolls got Trisha banned off her accounts, so she wouldn't talk to him. So she left the internet due to the harassment. Yep, pretty fucking much. Cyraxx saga. On the 27th of January 2022, Lloyd Street got shot up by gangsters in a drive-by, including a 13-year-old boy. Cyraxx then alleged that the trolls did this to kill him and confused him with the boy, which is something he likely generally believes that he left the internet for a bit. This resulted in the trolls getting bored, which is when AI Cyraxx saga began. Trolls allegedly Trolls alleged that Cyraxx had actually died in the shooting, and that all videos of Cyraxx afterwards were AI generated. And Marty and the other trolls and Weens would start uploading memorial videos for Cyraxx. Cyraxx would hop onto Marty's panel periodically, screaming that he actually is alive and proving it multiple ways, one of which is showing off the stylist, but Marty would then produce a forged death certificate and AI generated autopsy photos of Cyraxx to prove that Cyraxx was dead. This would go as far as even King Cobra JFS would react to Cyraxx dying, but this saga was eventually fizzled out. I know about because I've actually seen the police body cam of the aftermath of the shooting. Goffey, another catfish, would also appear at this time, being the first new catfish in about over a year. She would leak videos of Cyraxx saying that he'd lost $10,000 for Marty's trolling, and Cyraxx talking about a PBS documentary being filmed about him. Cyraxx would finally discover that she was a catfish. Goffey and Cyraxx would debate a few times on stream. Cyraxx would insult Goffey's teeth and King Cobra JFS, but not much interesting else to happen. Neat saga. Neat, a furry social media personality, publicly became friends with Cyraxx for about 3 days. Out of pity for Cyraxx, don't touch the poo. Almost immediately finding out the allegations of Cyraxx being a paedophile, after a horde of trolls descended on him. After pleading for Neat for a while, Cyraxx would give up pursuing Neat, and Cyraxx revealed personal information about Neat while threatening him. Masshole and other trolls while simultaneously looking for sympathy and trying to make up with Neat. Absolutely fucking nuts. This is getting worse all the time. Street racing scene. Geiger. On the 28th of August 2022, Cyraxx, in his 10 years of music, would release the first song that was actually at least somewhat listenable to, called Street Racing Scene. The song itself is an extremely self-indulgent mess, as most of the lines don't actually rhyme and often desync with other background music. Despite this, trolls and weens would inflate Cyraxx's ego, saying that the song was great, even influencing him to do multiple live performances. That was until William Gloryhole copyrighted the Cyraxx's song, renaming it Drift King, making Cyraxx freak out. During this time, Cyraxx, with his inflated ego, would call out multiple people, one of whom was a Saved by the Bell actor called Greiker. Cyraxx would randomly make a video calling him out for no reason, slandering his name and cursing him out. He would even curse him out on Cyraxx's 32nd birthday. Assassination saga. On the 3rd of November of that year, Cyraxx was live streaming when a loud snap was heard in the background and his bedsheets shifted slightly. Despite loudly exclaiming that there was no bullet hole, there isn't a scratch or nothing. After investigating his window, he would make a video the day after, pretending to quiet and claiming that he was shot at, showing 2 photos of a damaged caulking on his windowsill and a hole in his bed, neither showing a hint of bullet residue, being inconsistent with a test drone by YouTuber Zach Bowles 7079 and having an insane bullet trajectory that would require the shooter to be 60 feet above his house. It was a mouse trap essentially that went off because he has mice. In a phone call after the video was made, Cyraxx would claim that his 3 main suspects of being the shooter were Marty, Candell Smith and William Gloryhole, later narrowing it down just to Marty, of course, and later developing the absurd claim that Marty was a terrorist who had connections to the Israeli intelligence agency and hired him to shoot an ice bullet through his window onto his bed to off him because Marty was gay and couldn't have him. Fucking hell. He was also trying to get him institutionalized. The whole situation really the apex of Chance's paranoia, and was also complete iconic considering the fact that Chance previously threatened to off his trolls with a real gun before. He's a nut job, in other words. Scrapers. Neat Part 2. Oh, he's back. Cyraxx's priority was to try and befriend Neat for the second time. Again, for the same reason. Cyraxx would make a video asking for Neat to talk to him again. And I'm saying his name wrong, but I can't be fucking asked to fix it. Saying that life was too short to stay mad at your friends, despite wasting his entire life playing video games and whining on the internet. Cyraxx would even find Neat's number and call him. That's fucking creepy. Which Neat obviously responded poorly to, causing Cyraxx to call him racial slurs. Cyraxx would make another video to Neat, saying that Neat's fame was going to his head, and Neat made one final response video from VR chat where he meticulously lists all of Cyraxx's flaws and tells him to get offline. Urban spelunking. Cyraxx would then, after being consistently told that he wouldn't be making up with Neat and losing his role model, tried to spice up his life by trespassing on the train yards. Or in his words, it would start urban spelunking. Despite spelunking describingly descending into caves. He would take photos of himself trespassing, which trolls would call him out and report to police. Cyraxx would panel up with Marty playing the urban spelunker act to justify his actions, which Marty debunked in real time, and Marty would show him the Legislative Service Commission House Bill 667, which made it specifically illegal to explore train yards. Because they're still active train yards, that's why. David Jason Frank. Cyraxx, after losing his friend Neat, lost another person that was dear to him, named Jason David Frank, the Green Power Ranger. I put dear in quotations, as Cyraxx made multiple allegations to assault him before he even hated him, which was known to use people's death to virtual signal. Cyraxx would make the Jason D. Frank Memorial Show, where he badly played instruments and did a headstand. He would then live stream Jason's funeral, which entirely forgot him after. Apple Watch. Cyraxx would begin to having a tech-related issues at the end of 2022, and at the start of 2023. This would start the watch saga, when he hopped onto Marty's panel, brandishing who he claimed to be an Apple Watch, saying that was worth more than Marty's entire house. Apple Watches are like $1,500. Like, a house is worth a lot more than that, by the way, you fucking idiot. And he bought it himself. Oh, fucking hell. Turned out to be a cheap watch, was actually gifted to him by Sally as an early Christmas present. It was eventually taken away from him after Marty told Akron PD that he suspected Cyraxx had a CP on the watch. It was basically a watch off of Temu. 339 review bombing. 339 would also be starting getting reviews on Google Maps, as trolls and reams registering as 339 as a business. They named it multiple things, such as Skull Scratcher Barrow, Skull Scratcher Incorporated, until Google stepped in and entirely shut down reviews of 339. Xbox. Cyraxx managed to get his Xbox bricked by trolls after Liquid Chris and MF Goon sent him a USB killer under the pretense it was to jailbreak his Xbox after discovering that he talked to kids on Fortnite when playing Xbox. Cyraxx raged extremely hard over this, the hardest he has been in a while, even slamming his desk and breaking something. After many years of laminating, Marty would pretend to send Cyraxx another Xbox and would intercept and return the package to himself, prompting the chance to have another meltdown. Him accusing Marty of committing a federal crime, even threatening Marty with a hammer, claiming to have Viking blood. Leading up to this situation, Marty and the trolls were constantly poddling chance to dance for him, and finally managed to get chance to dance to Debbie Deb Lookout Weekend, Stacy Q, Two of Hearts, and Aqua Barbie Girl for over 40 minutes to receive an Xbox that Marty would eventually not send. He would dance for one, but Sally would intervene and eventually scam a Norwegian man out of an Xbox. Jesus. Drift King War. My throat is drying out terribly. How many minutes have I been going for? 1 hour. Fuck it, I'll continue. Cyraxx has always had an interest for racing. As far as going as a mooch for steering wheel off of Sally, he is of course awful at racing. Not even having a driver's permit at 30. You know what, we're just going to skim some of this because I'm getting a headache reading this. So yeah, Drift King War, like, he basically gets a steering wheel. He wants to like race people on like driving games, that he wants to be like the lead Drift King, and he fails at it. The fight, we'll read the fight because that's funny as fuck. It started in February 2023 when Marty got in an Airbnb in Akron. Marty has shown up at Cyraxx's house many times before, but this time he was to stay there for a while. Marty has told Cyraxx about this and teased Cyraxx about it, to which Cyraxx given his slur-laden threats to try and warn Marty off. At first he threatened to confront Marty and beat him up with a tripod. Marty then released a YouTube short of him driving to Akron, then arriving on the 3rd of March at 6:33 PM, 300 feet away from 339. I think it was at the corner. It was the Airbnb was. Cyraxx scurried over to Marty's Airbnb as Marty sat on the porch, live streaming, camera facing outwards. Come on by, Cyraxx, Marty hollers. Cyraxx becomes visible in the distance, screaming. Marty gets off his porch, fixes the camera. Marty gets on the sidewalk, and Cyraxx charges. A guttural scream echoes throughout Akron, and history is made. Marty annihilates the goblin and took his orange ring as a trophy. The 2,300 live viewers celebrated as a video is uploaded to r/musicbizmarty to become the top high rated post before Cyraxx even gets home. Cyraxx, upon reaching his house, calls the cops like he usually does and makes a video featuring his battered face, coping over the loss of the fight. The only thing he is able to celebrate really is that he was still alive after fighting someone more than a foot taller than him and double his weight. After the fight, Marty invited Cyraxx on the call to talk. When Cyraxx shows off in a ninja pajamas and claims Marty almost killed him and talks about how he had the death rattle in his voice, whatever that means. The death rattle is basically when you're really dead, like not after you got hit in the face a couple of times. And that Marty had no honour, despite the fact that Cyraxx charged him without warning. That's the thing, is like Marty was protecting himself. Cyraxx, despite losing horribly, would go on to make a horrible diss track on Marty, and even claim that Marty had lost the fight. He still claims that he won the fight. Fucking hell. Right, post-fight exile. After the fight, Chance did actually manage to leave the internet for good for a period of time with the encouragement of Sally. During the period of time, he would appear in calls with CVG, Cyraxx would be spotted occasionally on Kick, and his freakouts on camera seemed to be over for now. So Cyraxx would return to YouTube in late May 2023. That was long lasted. But after his return, his escapades didn't carry the same energy that they did previously, as the amount of trolls coming in to troll Cyraxx and the creativity of current trolls decreased. Jasmine eviction, arrest, Candle restraining order, like Candle gets a restraining order against him, in other words. Dimensional merge, I'm just going through it really fucking quick at the minute. Like made cryptic videos about a new era. It's basically all that fucking bullshit. Drone saga. There was drones going over his house, and people throwing paint at his house. He was like blaming the trolls for it for a while. That was in 2014. Tyler's not filled in. Marty's death. Yeah, unfortunately we lost a good one back in 2025. Marty did pass away. That is 100% true. I think he passed away over a fentanyl overdose, but I don't really believe that. I think he passed away with like heart attack or something. But it was a great loss, because he was actually generally a really nice guy. Marty was. Cyraxx essentially refused to believe it. The actual funeral was live streamed, and he was like, "These are trolls. It's fake. It's like these were all paid actors." All that fucking bullshit. But I think at the end he finally realised that Marty was dead. So yeah. Project 43. I've got no idea, to be fair. Brother Shoe. Let's see. Yeah, he lost. Like, he hosted a live stream because like Brother Shoe, Topia Shoe's brother, who was tragically killed in a carjacking incident. Cyraxx looks like he did a live stream on that. Post bricking, more bricking for the Xbox. Alex T. Oh, fucking big T. He tried to be a troll, but he became a lolcow in himself, and he got himself arrested because he's like a fucking idiot. Ed fight. I'll read the Ed fight because that'll be entertaining. In the early hours of June 2025, around 3 AM, Cyraxx was hosting a karaoke live stream at 3 AM when Sally and Ed are trying to fucking sleep. As the session neared its end, Sally entered the room and requested him to lower the volume due to the late hour. Cyraxx momentarily left the frame and reportedly to explain this refusal to stop the stream despite the time. Shortly after, tensions escalated. When Ed intervened in a notably agitated state, the conversation between Ed and Cyraxx began turning hostile, resulting in a heated exchange involving shouting, the throwing of objects, and threats from both parties. Throughout the altercation, Sally could be heard trying to meditate and calm the situation. Viewers of the live stream were alarmed by the volatile behaviour on display, began contacting adult social services or protective services. Law enforcement was eventually dispatched to the residence following multiple reports. While Sally lied to the police to cover for Cyraxx, why the fuck would you do that, you fucking stupid cow? Infuriating many, Cyraxx's aunt, Dale Lynn, drove to the house the next day to check on Sally and contacted protective services herself. When Cyraxx learned of this, he threw a huge fit and threatened his aunt with beating her up and disowning her, out of nowhere accusing her of trying to get him removed so she can keep Sally's inheritance herself. That was like the latest, the last big fight that they had, and nothing was fucking done with it. It's like, seriously, it never changes. Cyraxx through the years. This will eventually be a gallery. Well, we're not going to come back to this. Like, seriously. Oh my god, this was so fucking long, Jesus Christ. Last updated on the 22nd of March of this year. Oh, fucking hell. I'm just going to put this entire thing in the description below. over an hour 10. I got a headache. See you guys.